Hello friends, Cheryl here with Inked Pulp, and we are back with Dephemerember. Let's see, what day are we on here? We are on day 26, which is clusters and tangled threads. So I think this one's going to be fun and not too awfully difficult. So this is cash register tape. And I only have one out right now. Actually, I may go ahead and put out, what I did with it, a second strip. So we'll see if we can make two at a time. I like this as a base. I have a lot of these cash register tapes, and I really like them for bases. And then I just took some washi tape to hold it flat. And what I'm going to do is make some clusters that have fabric, lace, tangled threads, and then some die cuts. Maybe a button, maybe I don't know, something else, maybe at the top. Maybe. We'll see. So there are my two strips. So I've got these flowers. And I thought, these might be kind of fun. On top of some, lace and paper and stuff. And then put a little button in the middle. So I've got those. And then I have bags of little die cuts that I've gotten in, I don't know, various things that I've purchased. And I don't know, I've just got and received in like Your Creative Studios. I've got my bucket of lace here, and then I've got a whole bunch of threads. I have threads like this yarn that I want to try and use. I have some ladder trim. I have some eyelash trim. And then, of course, I've got just regular thread that we can use as well. So, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Let's actually get this on straight. Excited to have you here. I'm excited for this one. Sometimes I look at these prompts. Oh, I wanted to, before we get started, I want to show you the finals from yesterday's, which was the altered pockets and texture. So here was my favorite. This was the roosters and the brown, and remember these are individual little pockets, and then we played with the texture paste and putting some color on it to highlight it. And then I ended up going with, oh, excuse me, I had to yawn. That doesn't often happen while I'm doing a video. I went with these little embellishments for this one. This one, I'm really pleased with how it came out. So remember I had this really dark blue on here, and it was just too dark. So this has got, I'm going to pull this way up to the camera so you can see. Do you see all the layers of color in there? Like down in here, we've got some darker layers. And then you've got some lighter layers. But down in here, I mean, it's just layer after layer after layer. And so what I did is I took some light blue paint, which sort of mimicked this, and I painted over the whole thing. But I dry brushed it, so it didn't really cover the whole thing. And then I wanted some of the kind of turquoisey color. So I had to mix it up. I didn't have the exact right color, but this is it right in here, and right down here, this is that turquoisey color. Oh, here's some more up here. So I mixed up some of that turquoisey color, and I dry brushed it on. And then I thought, oh, it's just all kind of too blue. So I took some parchment was the name of the color, and I dry brushed that on in certain places to just, brighten it up a little bit. And then I found this image that was really nice because it went kind of up the whole pocket. But I'm really pleased with how this one ended up turning out. I did not like it when it was all blue. This one is still not my favorite, but I will use it. So you remember this was all just kind of a dark gray. And so I went over it with a green. You can see the greens in there now. And then I went over it with a lighter green because the darker was too dark. And then it was just all green. So then I went over it with, I think I put gesso on this one. I actually put gesso on this one too. Before I started putting down the blue, I put gesso on this one. So I put gesso on this one, and it just sort of came out with, some greens. I think it matches okay. And then I found this bird. It has the pop of red in it. And then this fabric, put some cheesecloth, some thread behind it, and then a button on there. So while it's not my favorite, it works. And I definitely will use it. But I wanted to show you the final on those because I didn't get them all finished up while we were online. All right, so let's get started here. So the first thing I want to do is put down a piece of fabric. Now, y'all know this is my favorite fabric. So let's do a couple of blue ones. So these are going to be larger clusters. I don't need more than 2, I don't think. We'll save that other piece. And then I've got some of this. I really like this fabric as well. It's a heavier fabric, almost like a canvas. Ooh, now look at there. Look at all those threads I pulled out. We could use some of that for the tangled threads. Wouldn't that be pretty? All right, so I'm going to hang on to that. And then cut this in half. And so we're just picking out bases and laying down bases for our clusters. All right, there's those. Let's see, what else do we have in here? I've got some of this. This is really pretty fabric. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller. And then we'll go back and finish up with some bigger ones. Okay. Let's see, what else do I have in here? That's pretty. That's really thick. Almost like a flannel. Let's do, this is one of my other favorites. A lot of these fabric scraps in here that are my favorites. All right, so we will start with come on out of there. I'm trying to pull it out so it creates a nice fringe, ruffly, or not ruffly, but frayed edge. All right, so there we go. There's the bases we're going to work with. And then I'm not going to pre-plan anything. I'm just going to start putting stuff down and seeing where we go with it. Here's a fun piece of lace. we'll put that on there. I like that. Maybe we'll put one on here. And let's see, what else do we have? I don't have anything pink down there. Let's look at... I think that one's gonna fray very well. Ooh, this is a white one. That's a really nice... Let's put that down there. And then let's take this and just fray it up a little bit. This one might need 2 pieces because that just kind of goes down the middle. And let's see what else I've got. Oh, I've got this. What about some of this? Ouch. Because look at the end of that. I love it. I love that. Okay, let's see what else we've got. All kinds of stuff in here. Oh, here's some burnt lace. So if we put that burnt lace on there, now I just need 2 more. Nope, not that. Let's see, I'm pulling all this lace out here. I'll have to put it all back in. I like this little piece. And we'll put it right there at the end of that one. Here's a dark blue. Let's see about putting a dark blue on top of this. There we go. I still need something more on that piece. And I'm just doing a lot of fraying because I like my edges all tattered and so there's a fun piece for there. Now let's see what, this is a lot of netting. I don't know that I want netting. There's a piece that was stapled together. It's where one piece ended and the other began on the roll. And how about if we just put that on there? Now, what do we have left? That's everything, but I do want one more piece of something. Up here, and maybe one more piece of something right there. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? I want something in the kind of white family or close to it. This is for this blue one up here. I want to add a little more to it. This one's the front. So we've got that and that. Maybe we should put a little something else underneath this one too. Let me see what I got here. Digging way down to the bottom. And let's see what I have that we could use. That's pretty. Come on. Just going to cut some of those little frayed pieces off. Now, I don't know if I want to put this underneath or over top. We'll have to try both. I really like that lacy piece there. Let's try this. Nope. Let's cut this down a little bit. I like to tear them if I can, but some of these polyester fabrics, man-made fabrics, don't tear very well. All right, so that goes down that way. I'm going to put it diagonal. And then let's just put a little piece up here. And then a little piece down there. All right, does anything else need more? This actually is probably too big for this piece because it's covering up all the fabric. Let's put that up there. Might want to put something else down here. Let's see. I've got this. It's really hard to tell on some of these what's the front and what's the back. All right, let's put another little piece. I think that's the same thing as this one is. All right, and then I need something now still for this. I've got that. And then let's see what other little pieces I have in here. Because I know I've thrown a bunch of little tiny things in here. Because you just never know what size piece you're going to need. So here's one. Okay. There's that. All right, so we've got lace. Now we need to put some fiber, some tangled thread. Let me get all this lace back in my jar. Sometimes I wonder how I had it in there to begin with because it's packed full. Full, I tell you, full. Okay. There's that. That goes back there. All right, so let's look at some of this ladder trim. We'll just tangle up these threads. say tangle, I'm gonna like pull them into little knots and really, tangle them up so that if you wanted to, get these out, it would take you a little bit because they are tangled. Tangled. All right, whoops. I lost it. Of course, I think I lost it a long time ago. All right, so we'll just tangle these up. Let's see, where shall we put these? Okay, shall we put these here? I kind of like that. And then I have these threads that I pulled off. They're already tangled up. I pulled these off of this fabric here. So let's use some of this. I mean, no sense letting it go to waste, right? It's probably a little much because this piece isn't that big. And I don't want to cover the whole thing with the tangled threads. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it between my fingers to get it to tangle some. And then we'll lay it on there. Okay. Oh, I've got this blue. And what I wanted to do was kind of pull it apart. I don't know where the end is. There's an end. I don't know if this is going to work. These are little yarn threads. No. What if we put that up there for some tangled threads? Now I've got this one. It's kind of a rose color, but I guess it would work on here. Let's just tangle it up really good. Okay, there's some tangled threads. Let's just kind of put that right down there in the middle. All right, now I've got this blue ladder trim. Trying to find the end of it here. There it is. So let's get this one all tangled up. And I'm just sort of winding the pieces in and around each other. Like if you saw that one short that I did where I had, I think, a ball of ladder trim similar to this, and I was trying to untangle it, and it had some weird music playing, and then I did the thing, it said the struggle is real. The struggle is real. It is real. All right, let's find some threads. Okay, I need something for this one, and I think a blue. I've got all this box. These are old spools, and so the thread, it's old, it's compromised. Everything here is on a wooden spool, and it is, it is compromised thread because I don't know that I would really sew with it because I don't know how sturdy it is. But for stuff like this, I want something darker, like maybe this one. For stuff like this, it's perfect. All right, so let's Just tangle it up a little. Here, and I'm just kind of going in and out of my fingers and making it all tangly. And then I'll roll it between my fingers to make it more tangly. And we'll put that on there like that. Okay. Now what? Oh, I know what I want to use. I want to get some gold thread. So I've got this one. And I've got another one that is actually a little bit thicker that I might want to use. Be on here. Let's get some gold thread. And I'm just messing this all up and making it all tangled. I'm liking how these are turning out. Okay, let's roll it between the fingers and get it really tangled up here. And put that down on there. Okay, there's some tangled threads there. Now, I also have this. It's not really, it's metallic yarn is what it is. I guess technically it's a thread, but I want to see how this will work on this one. And then we only have no more to do. This is the last one. So let's see if I can't. This stuff doesn't want to work. It's real slick. Let's see if we can. This reminds me of tinsel that we used to put on the tree. And it doesn't like to behave. Holy cow. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, no, I don't like that. Other thing that I could use, and I could use this on here, is a piece of jute. And what I can do, it's only 2 strands, so I'll take them apart. There we go. And we'll tangle these up, because I think that will look good on there. And I can even unravel some of this. Ooh, I got some of the unraveled threads. I breathed them in. Okay, let's there we go. All right. There we go. There's all of our threads. Now, if we want to put more on, we certainly can do that, but I think I like that. This one I might want a little bit more of a darker color. How about the kind of magenta color? Let's see if I have that in my tub of old. Nope, that's a peachy color. So I have it in my tub of old threads. All right, I have this. It's kind of a purpley, but I think once we get it all unraveled, it probably will look a little more, a little more like I want it to. I might want to put something darker on that too. Okay, let's do this and let's roll it together, tangle it up, put it down there. I like that. Now I do want something a little darker here. Let's see, what do I have in my bucket over here? I have, let's see what colors. Those are kind of like yellows and browns. Well, I have this really. Now you want to talk about tangled threads. Let's look at this, because if these aren't tangled threads, I don't know what is. So let's see if we can find something a little darker. To put on there. How about some of this? Darker kind of orangey color. Kind of matches that color that's in that lace I used. Let's cut this off a little. I could just cut a little snippet off the corner of this and put the whole thing down. A mishmash of colors. Because that is definitely tangled thread. All right, I like that. Now maybe a dark brown here. Maybe. Nope. Nope. Let's go back over here and find the right thing. Ooh. I think this might be it. Let's take a piece of this. Yes. Oh, this is just a little piece. And we've got all these threads that we can unravel. And leave them all tangled up there. All right, so there we go. That's what I'm going to do. Now, whoops. Before I move on, I want to staple these all together because I don't want to have to glue them all, and I will sew at the end, but I don't want to have to sew them to keep them from coming apart. So we'll just take our tiny attacher and put a few staples in here just to hold everything together. Okay, there's that one. I like this with the yarn on it. I really like that one. And this one with the eyelash trim. I'm not a huge fan of eyelash trim, but in this case, I like it. And the reason I'm not a huge fan is because unless you get the right kind, the eyelashes are so far apart that if you try to put it on something, you don't really see it all that much. Okay. when you wad it up like that, it's better. All right, there's that, and there's that. Okay. 2 and 3. I like those, and those will get covered up. And on the back, if you're gluing the cluster down, you won't really see it. And sorry, I'm not talking, I'm concentrating. I'm concentrating on trying to catch all these layers within the stapler so that it doesn't come apart. There we go. These are kind of fun clusters. Clustered and tangled threads. I used to keep all the, when I would have to rip fabric when I was selling fabric, and I don't cut it. I rip it apart. And that one's done and that one's done. All right, they're all done. I would rip it apart and I would end up with all these strings left over. And I would keep all those strings, try to do something with them. Okay, so these again, they're all just die cuts. Oh, that would be cute on there. And I could put a little eyelet through it. That would be really cute. I was thinking this one might be too, but it might be too big. All right, so I got one little blue one. I really like that. See, here's some tags. We could do a tag again. Well, they're not all tags. Some of them are little people. Nope, that's too big. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. We could cut that out and put that on there. Or on this one. No, I like it better on this one. I like that. Apple and gooseberry jam. How about that? Okay. There are those. And then let's look at this big package. Oh. How about if we put that on there? Little mushrooms. Got a bunch of little stuff in here. Let me pull all these out. Maybe if we turned it that way. That works. Another little mushroom. Let's see what else we have here. I've got some stars. That doesn't really match the color though. Now I could just put some buttons on some of these, which I may very well end up doing. I like this, but it's too big. So if I cut it down a little bit, boy, I got this big old pack of die cuts from Joann's when they were still open, and it has all different sizes and different subjects, and it's just a great pack of stuff. Here's another one of these. Nope, I like this one because we can dangle it. All right, let's see. Oh, there's a little hedgehog. What if we put that little hedgehog on there? These will be cute for spring. And then there's a little squirrel. Okay, I don't have anything there. Let's look at a button for there instead of just a die cut. All right. Then I had this one. I might want to put those two on there. All right, let's get out the inker. Boy, this package has a lot in it. And I have this. These are all kind of big. Although I could. Nah, I don't like that. These are all going to be way too big for this. Okay, we'll put a button on this one. All right, but let me find a button first. Let's see. Button, where's the button? So I've got some of these all kinds of buttons over here. Bear with me one sec while I rummage through my buttons. Let's pull out the yellow box and see if we have one that will work here. I think I might see one. Makes it a little bulky, but that works. Looking for one in kind of that mustardy color. I think this one is just too bulky. Although if you did it as a page tab, it could stick out as a page tab. That one's not really any less bulky, but it's more subtle. Oh no. I just don't know. Let me look in my big button container because I haven't sorted them all yet. Oh, how about a metal button? That might work really well. That might be just the thing. That might be just the thing. And like maybe just like that. Maybe just like that. I don't know why I'm continuing to look because I really like that one. But I just have to look at them all. You guys do that? Even though you find something you really like, you gotta keep looking so that you make sure you look at everything. Now the other thing I have, let me see how this looks. That's too little. So I have one a little bit bigger in here without being too big. I also have a clock, and I could cut off the back of this. I could put a clock on there, or I could put a button on there. I think I like the button better. You guys are probably all screaming, no, put the clock on. But I kind of like that. All right, let's put these aside. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. And I'm not going to put thread through it this time. Usually I put some thread through them. I'm not going to do that with this one because there's so much else going on here, and we have the other threads. So I'm just going to put this down. Now I want to keep that. I just want to clip it on there so it stays. All right, let's get our inking tool out here. I see the black one. Where's the brown one? I should really get this stuff out before I come online so I don't end up, some stuff I do get out and then other stuff I don't. And I end up searching for it all over my desk. I'm not seeing the vintage photo, so let's use something different. Oh, there it is. They do have the vintage photo. All right. All right, and we'll just hang that off of there with a bulb pin or a safety pin or something. This one, I might put another little piece of that blue fabric under it and glue it down. I may not sew these because I think they're okay the way they are. Let's see here. Does this one just punch out? No. Let's get get my crocodile out here without destroying my whole desk. And let's see where the there we go. And then we'll put an eyelet in that one. Now, if I really wanted to go to the next level on these, I could put some embossing powder on them. And yep, I think I might like it that way better. I could put some embossing powder on them and make them shiny, but I'm not going to do that. Not today. All right, so we got that guy. Little hedgehog, those will be nice for spring. And then this one is the little bunny rabbit, or excuse me, the squirrel. That's cute. Okay, this has already got black around, but the edges have some white on them, so I'm going to just cover that up. All right. And finally this one. I've got some colored eyelets that I might use here. Just to give it a different look. I spilled these yesterday and I got smart and taped them closed. This whole container went flying. So we're just gonna, well, we'll finish up. We'll go over an hour a little bit, but I'm doing what, 8 of them? So we're getting a lot done. All right, so on this one, let's put, oh, nope, I gotta go with the bigger one. That hole's too big. And we'll use one of those. Yep. And on this one, I've got a light blue that will look really pretty in there. And I guess that's all I need for the eyelets. Okay, I've got the little, I've got, sometimes when I do these little ones, they don't go down all the way. There we go. Okay, there's that one. Now let's switch it over to the big one. And put this one down. Come on. That one didn't want to go down all the way either. Why aren't these going down all the way? I don't know. I'll just pick some metal and put it down. All right, now for those two, let's just get a little ball pen. We'll do a silver one with the blue. I'm not sure. No, I think I do like it this way after all. There we go. And then I'll probably stamp a word or something in there. And then on this one, let's go with the gold. And then the others we'll just glue down, and then we'll have them all done. Now this is really sticking up, so I'm going to put a little Fabri-Tac on it and push it down so it stays down. Oh, look at that. Isn't that cute? Okay, there's that. Now, do I want a little piece of I might want another little piece of this fabric sticking out from the side here, so I'll just staple that together. Oh, you know what? I was going to put these on the, I was going to glue these down to the tape so that they had a strong base. I don't think I need to, actually. Isn't that funny? That was my initial thought. But I don't think I need to do that. All right, now this one, I think I want another, a little piece of this, not much. That's too funny. I was going to put them on that. I'm going to put them on that cash register tape. That's really funny. Okay, let's put this on here with a little bit of that sticking out of there. Okay. I don't think they need the cash register tape. I think they're sturdy enough without it. Okay, and I like these threads poking out of this one. I'm not going to put anything behind it. Because I do like how the threads are coming out. Okay, now this one, I want to glue these together first. And then we'll glue it on. And I'm also not going to have to sew anything on these. Now I am using Fabri-Tac because there's a lot of threads and fabric and all sorts of other things on here that this has all got to stick to. Okay, there's that one. And then I think think I was going to turn this way. Yep. Okay, now that I've got every crafting supply from my shelves all out on my desk, this will be fun to clean up. All right, I'm going to pull up this paper. Just throw it away because we ended up not needing it. And let's look at what we've got here. All right, we've got this one. Look at how cute that is. We've got our tangled threads, got lace, got fabric. We've got this one. Isn't that adorable? With the gold thread and the brown thread. I love this for the spring. We've got that one. We've got this one. And I love this with the dangle on it. And actually, we might want to turn that so it dangles that way. Or maybe not. I should just leave things alone. However it went on, that was the way it was meant to go on. And I need to learn to let well enough alone. There we go. Look at that. Now, there's a bunch of thread here just hanging, so I'll go in and kind of glue that down, but that's that one. Okay. And then we've got this little groundhog, who I love. And then finally, we've got this guy. And what I'll end up doing on this is putting a little sticker, or, you guys, or, let me find it really quick. Yes. Let's look at these little tiny, oh, I see one right here that I want. I see one right here. I love this rub-on set because it's got little tiny ones. You can cut them out in bigger pieces, or you can leave them tiny. I love them. I love them a lot. I use them a lot. Because sometimes you just need something to fill in. Come on back up. Don't stick there. Well, you're already stuck there, so it already stuck down as soon as it hit the paper. There we go. That's a little bit crooked, but that's all right. So there we go. So we got a little flower on that. All right, folks, that is Dephemerember Day 26. That is clustered and tangled threads. All right, you guys. There we go. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe got a little inspiration for how you might want to do some for yourself. And let me know if you do. Send me pictures. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. If you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of these. I love them. All right, everybody. Catch you in the next one. Bye.